There is a moment almost every woman over 60 knows, and almost nobody talks about. You are standing at the mirror by the front door, coat half on, keys already in your hand, and you catch your own reflection sideways, not looking for it, just catching it. And something in you flinches. Not because of your face, because of the clothes. Because somewhere along the way, you started dressing for a woman who was trying not to be noticed, and you did not decide that on purpose. Nobody sits a woman down at 55 and says, "From here on, you disappear a little." It happens in small choices. A blouse gets swapped for something looser because looser feels safer. A bright colour gets left on the rack because bright feels like it is asking for something you are not sure you are allowed to ask for anymore. And one day, you are 62 years old, standing in a closet full of clothes that fit your body just fine and fit nothing else about you at all. I have spent 41 years around clothes, not designing them, not modelling them, fitting them on real women, in a little tailoring shop I ran out of the back of a dress store for most of my working life, and then out of my own house after that. I have pinned hems on brides and on their mothers, and then, 20 years later, on those same mothers again, when they came in for something to wear to their daughter's 50th birthday. I have watched more women than I can count walk in wearing what they thought 60 was supposed to look like, and walk out standing an inch taller because somebody finally told them the truth, which is that almost everything you were taught about dressing after 60 is backwards. Today, I'm going to tell you what actually works, the specific things, not vague encouragement, actual methods, the same ones I used on real women in that shop for 4 decades. And then I am going to tell you why almost nobody says any of this out loud. Because once you see it, you will not be able to unsee it, and it will change how you look at every rack of clothes you walk past for the rest of your life. Let me start with the mistake, because if you do not understand the mistake, nothing else I tell you will land right. The mistake is thinking that dressing well after 60 means dressing to hide. Somewhere, and I could not tell you exactly when, women got the message that youth belongs to fitted and bright and interesting, and age belongs to loose and muted and safe. So a woman turns 60 and she starts buying things 2 sizes bigger than she needs because bigger feels kinder. She starts reaching for grey and taupe and navy because loud feels like it belongs to somebody younger. She trades her waistline in for an elastic one because comfort and dignity got confused somewhere along the way, and she thinks she is aging gracefully. She is not aging gracefully. She is disappearing carefully, and there is a difference. And her body knows the difference, even when her mind has stopped arguing about it. The clothes that actually add 10 years to a woman are not the ones with colour or shape or a defined waist. The clothes that add 10 years are the shapeless ones, the ones that hide the body so completely that the eye has nothing to land on but the face and the hands. And, unfortunately for all of us, gravity has opinions about the face and the hands that we would rather it kept to itself. A shapeless dress does not protect a woman from looking older. It removes the one thing, the silhouette, that was doing the work of making her look put together in the first place. You are not hiding your age in loose fabric. You are handing the whole conversation over to your face with nothing else in the frame to balance it. So here is the first thing. And it is the biggest lever there is, bigger than any other single change you can make. And it costs almost nothing if you already own the clothes. Fit matters more than the label, more than the trend, more than the season, more than anything. A $20 blouse that has been taken in at the shoulders and shortened a ½ inch will make you look more put together than a $200 blouse bought off the rack in a size that is close enough. Close enough is the enemy. I used to tell my clients, if you remember nothing else from an hour in my shop, remember this: your clothes should follow the line of your body, not fight it and not swallow it. Most women over 60 are wearing clothes sized for a body they do not currently have, either too big because they bought for comfort, or the wrong shape entirely because they bought whatever was on the mannequin. Here is what to actually do about it. Take your 5 most worn pieces, the ones you reach for again and again, and take them to a tailor, a real one, not the dry cleaner counter, an actual tailor, and have the shoulders checked first, because a shoulder seam that sits even a ½ inch past where your shoulder actually ends will make any garment look borrowed rather than owned. Have the waist nipped if there is one to be found, even slightly, even an inch, because a garment that shows there is a waist under there, even a soft one, even a changed one, reads as intentional. And have the length checked on every skirt and pant, because hems that are wrong by even an inch, too long or too short, throw off the whole proportion of a body in a way most people cannot name, but everyone can feel. A $12 hem alteration will do more for how old you look than any cream on your bathroom shelf. And I say that as a woman who has nothing against a good cream. The second thing, and this one surprised even me when I started noticing it 40 years ago, is colour, but not the way you think. You have probably heard that women over 60 should wear muted colours, soft colours, nothing too bright, nothing too bold. I want you to throw that out entirely because it has the placement backwards. It is not about avoiding bright colour. It is about where you put it. As skin changes with age, and it does, it gets a little more even in some ways and a little more uneven in others. It loses a certain amount of the natural contrast a younger face has between the skin and the hair and the lips. So the trick is not to avoid colour. The trick is to bring colour up toward the face, close to the jaw and the collarbone, where it can do the work that your own natural contrast used to do on its own. A scarf in a real colour, not beige, a real colour, coral or teal or a deep berry, tied loosely at the neck, wakes the whole face up in a way that no amount of foundation will. A bold earring does the same thing. So does a blouse in a genuine colour worn under a neutral jacket, with the colour allowed to show at the collar and the cuffs. Meanwhile, the muted, quiet tones, the taupes and the soft greys, those are wonderful, but they belong lower down, on the trousers, the skirt, the coat, away from the face, where they let the eye settle instead of drawing attention to areas that need less of it. I had a client, a woman named Dolores, 71 years old, who came into my shop convinced that colour belonged to her granddaughters now, and her job was to fade into the background at family gatherings so the young ones could shine. I put a coral scarf on her over a grey dress she already owned. Nothing else changed, same dress, same everything. And she looked at herself in the mirror and did not say a word for almost a full minute. Then she asked if she could buy the scarf right off my neck. Colour near the face is not for the young. Colour near the face is for anyone who wants to be looked in the eye instead of looked past. The third thing is structure. And this one fixes a problem most women do not even know they are fighting, which is that the torso shortens and softens a little with age. And clothes that ignore this make that shortening look more dramatic than it actually is. What counteracts it is verticality and a little bit of architecture. A blazer with a real shoulder, not padded like it is 1985, just defined, gives the whole upper body a frame to sit inside. And a frame is doing you a favour your soft cardigan simply cannot do. A V-neck or a scoop neck elongates the space between the collarbone and the chin, which matters more than people realise, because a high, round neckline crowds that space and makes everything above it look shorter and heavier than it is. And a single vertical line, a row of buttons down the front, an open cardigan worn long over a fitted layer, a necklace that falls past the collarbone rather than sitting tight against the throat. All of these draw the eye up and down instead of side to side. And up and down is the direction that reads as tall, and tall reads as younger. Every single time, in every study anyone has ever done on how the eye interprets a human silhouette. You do not need a single new item in your closet to use this. You need to stop buttoning the cardigan and start wearing the necklace that has been sitting in the drawer because you thought it was too much. The fourth thing is shoes. And I want to be plain about this because I have watched it undo more outfits than anything else on this list. The wrong shoe changes how a woman walks, and how a woman walks changes everything about how old she looks before anyone has even seen her face. A woman shuffling carefully in a shoe that does not fit right, worried about her footing, moves like someone who is being careful with her body, and careful reads as old whether the woman herself is 60 or 30. A shoe that actually fits, actually supports the arch, and has even a small amount of structure at the heel, a low block heel, a clean sneaker with real support, whatever suits your life, changes the stride. The stride opens up. The steps get a little longer and a little more even. And a longer, steadier stride reads as confidence from 50 feet away before a single detail of your outfit even registers. I tell every client the same thing. Buy the right shoe before you buy anything else, because the right shoe changes your posture, and your posture changes your walk, and your walk is the first thing anyone sees, long before they see the blouse or the colour or the hem you had taken up an inch. The fifth thing is hair framing the face. And I will keep this simple because it is not really about hair at all. It is about the same principle as the colour, which is drawing the eye where you want it and away from where you do not. Hair that falls just at or slightly below the jawline does more to soften and lift the face than almost any other single change a woman can make, because it creates a frame that draws attention toward the eyes and away from the lower face and the neck. Hair pulled back tightly does the opposite. It exposes everything with nothing to soften the transition. And while a sleek pulled back style can look wonderful on some women, on most it does more work asking to be forgiven than it does flattering. A few soft layers around the face, even grown out over a longer style, even added to hair that is already long, change the whole conversation the mirror is having with you. The sixth thing is the earring, and I put this on the list because it is the cheapest fix of anything I have mentioned, and almost nobody uses it correctly. As the face changes shape slightly with age, tiny stud earrings tend to disappear into the ear and lose their job entirely, which was always to draw a little light and attention up toward the eyes. A slightly larger earring, not costume jewellery loud, just present, A drop or a hoop of real size does the frame work that the hair is doing from a different angle, drawing the eye up the side of the face instead of letting it slide down toward the jaw and the neck. This is the single easiest change on this entire list. You do not have to alter a single piece of clothing. You simply have to stop wearing the earrings you have worn since 1994 because they were a gift and start wearing something with a little more presence. Now, here is the part I want you to sit with because it is the part that made me the most uneasy the longer I did this work. All of what I have just told you costs almost nothing. A tailor's fee, a scarf, an earring you probably already own, a shoe you needed anyway. None of it requires a new wardrobe, and none of it requires spending real money on anything marketed specifically to women my age. And that, I think, is exactly why almost nobody tells women this. There is very little profit in a woman learning that the blouse she already owns just needs an inch taken off the sleeve. There is a great deal of profit in a woman believing she needs an entirely new wardrobe every time a magazine decides what women over 60 are supposed to wear this season. Or in a woman believing that looking younger requires a drawer full of creams and treatments rather than a scarf tied a different way. Nobody is sitting in a boardroom plotting to keep women from knowing how to use a $2 earring correctly. It is simpler and sadder than that. There is no money in teaching a woman to dress from what she already has. The money is in convincing her she needs more of everything, all the time, forever. So the plain, cheap, effective things, the fit, the placement of colour, the earring, the shoe, they just quietly stopped getting passed down, because passing them down does not sell anybody anything. I think about my own mother sometimes, who never once in her life spent real money on clothes, and never once, not one single day that I can remember, looked like she was hiding. She wore colour at 70 the way she wore it at 30, just placed a little differently, up near the face where it could do its work. She used to say, "A woman does not get quieter as she gets older. Her clothes just start telling on her if she stops paying attention to them." I did not understand her when I was young enough to think loud colour belonged only to loud years. I understand her completely now, standing on the other side of 60 myself, having spent 4 decades with a pincushion strapped to my wrist, watching women decide, one fitting at a time, whether they were going to disappear on schedule or not. So here is what I want you to do. 2 things, starting today. First, go to your closet right now and pull out the 3 pieces you wear the most and actually love. Not the ones that fit, the ones you love. And take them to a tailor this week, just to check the shoulder and the hem. It will cost you less than 1 new blouse, and it will do more than 5 new blouses combined. Second, find 1 piece of real colour, a scarf, an earring, even a lipstick if that is as far as you want to go for now, and wear it close to your face tomorrow, on an ordinary day, not a special one, just an ordinary Tuesday. And notice what happens when someone looks at you and actually sees you instead of glancing past you toward the exit. Tell me down in the comments what you tried and what you noticed, because I read every single one of these, and I have learned more from the women writing in than from anything I ever learned running that shop. Tell me too what your mother or your grandmother wore when she was your age, because I want to gather that before it is one more thing that quietly gets forgotten. Next time, I am going to walk you through the 7 pieces that belong in every woman's closet after 60. The actual shortlist, not the 50-item capsule wardrobes the magazines sell you. The real 7. The ones that work with everything else you own, and none of them cost what you think. Until then, take the colour out of the drawer, wear it close to your face, and stop dressing like a woman who is trying not to be noticed. Because somewhere out there is a version of you at 40 who would be furious to see you giving that up for free.